It all started on a chilly Saturday morning when my brother, Jake, stormed into my room, his basketball jersey half tucked and his voice raised. "Cancel your doctor's appointment and take me to my game," he demanded. More as an order than a request. I blinked, half awake, unsure if I'd heard him right. 4 weeks. I'd have been waiting for this follow-up. My doctor said it shouldn't be ignored. But to Jake, this wasn't just another game. It was the regional finals, the one that could make or break his shot at a scholarship. I could see the fire in his eyes, the same intensity he always had when he talked about basketball. Yet I also felt the tight knot in my chest, the quiet alarm that this wasn't just another inconvenience. Normally, I would have dropped everything for him, but not this time. He dribbled his ball impatiently against the carpet. "You can reschedule, right? Just this once." Prese. I looked him in the eye and said softly, "I can't, Jake. I really can't." His expression changed instantly. Disappointment first, then anger. "You're selfish," he snapped. "You always say you care about me, but when I really need you, you pick yourself." The words stung more than I expected. He grabbed his gym bag and slammed the door. I sat there in silence, hearing the echo of his words again and again. For the first time, I chose myself. I didn't know then how much that one choice would change everything. The game he missed would start a chain reaction far beyond our family. People I'd never met began judging me, blaming me, even asking me all because I said no. Leaving for the appointment, my heart was heavy. I could still feel Jake's anger lingering, like smoke in the air. Every ding of the waiting room door made me flinch. I tried to focus on the hope that everything was fine, but my mind kept drifting back to him, to his disappointment, to the words selfish echoing in my head. When I walked out of the doctor's office, everything felt different. My hands shook as I gripped my bag. The doctor had been serious, warning me that ignoring the symptoms could be dangerous. I also knew I had left Jake behind, furious and disappointed. The first text arrived almost immediately. He said, "It's all your fault. You ruined the game." I froze. How could a decision I knew was right feel so heavy with blame? Social media notifications poured in, pictures from the game flooding my feed, captions questioning why I would prioritize myself. I hadn't asked for any of this. I had simply chosen to survive. By evening, Jake hadn't spoken to me. The house felt colder, emptier, even though we were under the same roof. I replayed every moment, wondering if I could have done something differently. Nothing made sense. Even my parents seemed unsure how to bridge the gap. The following days were unbearable. Friends whispered. Strangers stared. "Didn't you care about him? Why would you do that?" The judgment was everywhere, and I started questioning myself. Maybe I was selfish. Maybe I had failed my brother and everyone around me. I left small notes on Jake's desk, apologizing for missing the game, but he didn't respond. His door stayed shut, a barrier I couldn't cross. Each ping of my phone made my heart race, hoping for forgiveness that never came. The isolation weighed heavily, amplifying every pang of guilt. At school and work, whispers continued. Friends said I had ruined everything for him. My private decision had become a public scandal. I felt trapped and alone, angry at a world that didn't understand. And yet, a part of me remained stubbornly aware of my own health, the pain and fatigue that had brought me here. Ignoring it would have been reckless. By the third day, I realized this wasn't just about Jake's game anymore. People were choosing sides, and I stood alone. No one understood that my choice wasn't selfish, it was necessary. I had become the villain in a story that wasn't mine to write. Then came the news that changed everything. My doctor had found something serious, something I had ignored for too long. The tests were clear. If I had delayed this appointment, it could have been far worse. Relief mixed with fear, knowing my life had been at stake. That evening, I overheard Jake talking to a friend. He had discovered my health scare, but instead of coming to me, he vented to others. His anger was misplaced, and it hurt more than the first confrontation. I wanted to scream, to explain, but I stayed silent, carrying both fear and unjust judgment. Isolation only grew. Friends avoided me. Teachers gave sympathetic but distant looks, and online forums debated, criticized, and questioned my morality. Every attempt to explain myself failed. I felt trapped in a world that refused to hear the truth. Meanwhile, Jake continued his routines, but the distance between us was tangible. At home, he avoided me and only spoke when necessary. Every glance felt accusatory, every silence like judgment. The game had become a symbol of betrayal. I spent hours reflecting on every choice I made. Could I have gone to the appointment earlier? Could I have planned differently? Every question deepened my guilt. Even when I reminded myself I had done the right thing for my health, it didn't feel in a woog. By the end of the week, life had shifted. It wasn't about games, appointments, or arguments anymore. It was about survival in a world that had turned against me for being responsible. I had no one to understand the truth. The hardest part was confronting my own limits. Treatments, strict instructions, constant monitoring. It was exhausting, yet the world continued to judge me. Every comment, every headline reminded me of my supposed failure. One evening, I sat in my room staring at the ceiling, thinking of Jake's rage and disappointment. Part of me longed for him to understand, but I knew it wouldn't happen. Some lessons are learned too late. Some anger never fades. Weeks passed. Tension remained. Jake's anger cooled slightly, but distance lingered. Even my parents struggled to bridge the gap. Relationships had been fractured irreparably by a single choice. Outside, whispers continued. I felt like a cautionary tale, a living reminder of the consequences of putting yourself first. And yet, I discovered resilience. I had survived the storm, faced judgment, and continued to fight my battles, even when everyone else turned away. Still, resilience didn't erase emptiness. Every night I went to sleep, haunted by what could have been. The regret wasn't just about Jake. It was about a world punishing responsibility. Life is messy, unfair, and unpredictable. Eventually, Jake approached me quietly. I didn't know. I didn't understand, he said. There was no instant resolution. The gap between us had been widened through weeks of anger and misunderstanding. I wanted to forgive him, but some choices leave scars. I nodded quietly, acknowledging his words. feeling the ache of what had been lost. Life doesn't always reward right decisions. Responsibility comes with a price. Looking back, I realize right choices can have unexpected consequences. I put my health first and paid a high cost. My brother's anger, strangers' judgment, and whispers everywhere. The weight of that decision hasn't lifted. I share this story so someone out there knows it's okay to protect yourself. It's okay to stand up for yourself, even when the world says you're wrong. It's okay to say no, to protect your life, even if it disappoints loved ones. Sometimes love is survival, even when it feels lonely. The silence and pain may linger, but survival matters most. Life doesn't come with guarantees. Every choice has a price. Bridges may never be rebuilt. We move forward carrying lessons and scars. Protect yourself, trust your instincts, and never feel guilty for doing what's necessary. To anyone struggling with a heavy choice, I see you. You are not alone. Survival matters, even when lonely. Thank you for listening. Living through this wasn't easy, and telling it wasn't easy either. I hope it makes you reflect. The right decision isn't always the easiest. Sometimes the right choice comes with a cost we bear quietly in our hearts every day.